Deep in the wild, wooded hills of Washington state, tucked away on an old, quiet property, there exists a mystery so strange. It almost sounds like a story someone made up just to give you the chills. But this isn't some campfire tale, it's the story of Mel's Hole. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy, and I typically discuss things that are strange, mysterious, and creepy. If that interests you, then please subscribe or follow me. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, or share this video with a friend. That really helps out a small growing channel like mine. Okay, now let's get back to today's story. The story starts with a man named Mel Waters, a Washington resident living in the sleepy town of Ellensburg. In the late 90s, Mel owned a remote stretch of land where he'd often hike and explore. But his land was hiding something bizarre, a hole. Not a well, not an abandoned mine shaft. Just a hole. This hole wasn't your average dip in the ground. It was a perfect circle, about 9 feet in diameter, with smooth brick-like walls. But what really made Mel's hole different? According to him, it was bottomless. No matter what he or others threw in, there'd be no sound, no splash, no crash of objects hitting the bottom. Just silence. Now, Mel wasn't the first to discover this hole. Locals had known about it for years. They called it the Devil's Hole and believed it went on forever. Some people even used it as a kind of natural garbage dump. They'd throw in old tires, junk, even large appliances, and everything would vanish, with never a sound of it hitting the bottom. Curious, and probably a little freaked out, Mel wanted to test just how deep it was. So he grabbed some heavy fishing line, attached a weight, and began lowering it down. He let that line down for hours, and when he finally ran out of line, he'd lowered it over 80,000 feet, nearly 15 miles deep. For context, that's almost twice the height of Mount Everest. And yet, he still couldn't find the bottom. But that's not even the strangest part. Over time, people began noticing that the hole seemed to have some kind of mysterious power. Legend has it that a local threw his dead dog into the hole one night, only for that same dog to be seen walking around the area a few days later. There was even talk that it could revive people if their remains were tossed in. Did it really happen? Well, no one could prove it, but locals would swear by these tales. Now, if you're thinking this sounds too wild to be real, you wouldn't be alone. Most people would dismiss a story like this as a tall tale, except that Mel went on the national radio show Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell in 1997. This was the show where people would share their most bizarre experiences, and listeners loved Mel's strange and fascinating story. He spoke calmly and with detail, which made people feel like he genuinely believed in what he was saying. Soon after Mel's radio appearance, things got even weirder. According to him, government agents showed up on his property, and his land was suddenly off limits. There were reports of black helicopters flying overhead, and he claimed that government officials even tried to buy his land. When he refused, they allegedly forced him off the property, saying it was no longer safe for him to live there. Mel didn't let it go, though. He said he managed to get back onto his land once the agents left. When he approached the hole, he noticed that strange changes had taken place. The area around it looked different, as if someone had done some kind of testing or even construction. And now Mel couldn't get as close to the hole as he had before. It was as though it was being guarded by some invisible force. The story takes yet another strange twist. Mel began telling people about other unusual experiences in the area around the hole. According to him, strange artifacts and metallic objects would appear near the hole, and some people reported seeing beams of light coming out of it late at night. Mel was convinced that there was more to this hole than anyone realized. Back on Coast to Coast AM, people from all over the world called in with their own theories. Some said it was a portal to another dimension. Others claimed it was a bottomless pit made by ancient civilizations or even aliens. A few believed it connected directly to the ocean floor or even to some sort of underground government facility. Every theory only added to the mystery. But then, just as the story started to gain traction, Mel vanished from the public eye. He stopped appearing on the radio and went silent. Some people believe he was paid off by the government to keep quiet, while others say he was intimidated into silence. A few conspiracy theorists even think that Mel never actually existed at all, that he was just a made-up character designed to feed into an elaborate cover-up. Over the years, many have tried to find Mel's hole, but no one's ever been able to locate it. There are no official records of the property he described, and those who venture into the remote hills of Ellensburg come up empty-handed. If the government was involved, they covered their tracks perfectly. Or maybe it was just a story. So, what is Mel's hole? A gateway to another dimension, a government experiment gone wrong, or just a strange story spun by a man who wanted to freak people out? We may never know. But one thing's for sure. If you ever find yourself wandering alone in the woods and you see a dark, endless hole at your feet, maybe it's best to just walk away. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for more mysterious stories like this one, true crime cases, and more. Until next time, please stay safe, and as always, stay curious.